was half naked. My daughter was totally naked. Her tears was like a stream of blood on her cheeks. Our phones had been seized. We ended up in an ungoverned region in the thick of the forest. We met a well-organized group. There were some kidnapped victims. I saw 2 women.
You are the masses who are suffering, who are victims. I subscribe to the masses understanding that you will never get justice from the legislature. Never. You will never get justice from the executive. Never, ever. You will never get justice from the judiciary. You will get justice through your organization and your capacity and the courage to receive by every means necessary.
When you look at how Muhammadu Buhari became the president of Nigeria back in 2015, Nigerians were passing through, some kind of difficulties as of that time. There were a level of insecurity here and there, but not as it is today. But then, Nigerians came out and said, maybe Buhari, who became the military head of state back in the 80s, could actually solve Nigerian problem. And they called for Jonathan's head. At the end of the day, Jonathan was removed as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Fast forward to 2019, we saw how insecurity moved from the northeast to almost the north central. We all thought that Muhammadu Buhari would be the solution to Nigeria. But it happens that it became a disaster that happened to Nigeria, of which it will take Nigeria, if not with the mercies of God, almost 100 years to recover from what Muhammadu Buhari have put Nigeria into. Not to talk about the economic hardship, but if you look at even the debt rate that he left behind, meeting the debt rate of Nigeria at 12 trillion and left the country with over 80 trillion in debt before leaving the office. That is just the economic side. What about the psychological and the moral side? Nigeria have been taken back to Stone Age. But this is not the matter today. When you look at what is happening within the FCT and other cities across Nigeria, you'll be wonder if at all we have security apparatus in this country.
Going on. There was no time to say a word. They marched us through into the bush, firing into the sky. They hit me on my chest, hit my daughter on her head. Blood oozed. At this time, it was better to kill me. I shouted at one of the armed men. His response was hell. He went straight for my private part, tore my dress with his gun. The others ripped my dresses. I was left with my undies. My husband and my daughter started crying. 2 of them dug their teeth into my breasts. While attending a secondary school in Adamawa, I had lived with some Fulani, so I understood a few Fulani words. I started pleading, at least for my daughter. To my shock, at gunpoint, they removed the dress of my little girl.
A testimony from a pastor in a church talking about how the church was harassed by, some unknown gunmen. This now will take me to the video that you watched earlier. It's an honorable member who was talking about, taking Nigerian back from those corrupt leaders.
Being one of the junior defense lawyers for Kensarowe, and he threw out Kensarowe argued against for non-violence. Nigeria has no respect for people who argue for non-violence. They simply hung him. After Ken was killed, he wasn't long. I became lawyer to take it on. Militant leader. You shoot him, he will shoot you back. And at the end of the day, when Yaradua wanted to negotiate with Takeketon, they sent a presidential jet. And the presidential jet carried him and I and his militants to Abuja. We sat and negotiated. The only thing Nigeria respects today is militancy. Capacity to fight and defend for yourself. All this thing wisely is talking. Mobilize, campaign. Waste of time. The militants in the Niger Delta today are effectively nominating people as commissioners, governors, legislators, ministers, all over the place. So if anybody tells you that you can continue to function the way you're doing, and be thinking that you cannot, let me tell you the truth. Shore's message is far more resonates with the masses than that of Peter. But Shore no get money now. That's the truth. That's the truth. So let us face it. Nigerians are hungry. Nigerians are angry, but they are not sufficiently angry. They will soon get sufficiently angry. Amen. And I am saying that before they get sufficiently angry, the judges that are manipulating the judicial process are doing what they should do. That is what they know to do. The politicians who are rigging elections are doing what they should do. That is what they understand to do. The INEC officials who are collaborating, people like Prof and all the rest of them, are doing what they will do. You know, the only people who are not doing what they should do are the masses who are suffering, who are victims. I subscribe to the masses understanding that you will never get justice from the legislature. Never. You will never get justice from the executive. Never, ever. You will never get justice from the judiciary. You will get justice through your organization and your capacity and the courage to resist by every means necessary. It is not a moral question. It is not a moral question. If you ever think it's a moral question, you want to march on the street and they will now drive you away, you're wasting your time. You must be prepared to resist them by every means necessary. Thank you.
What can we do going forward? Should Nigeria now begin to agitate? Should we now begin to resist using military power? Should we begin to resist by going out to protest? The truth of the matter is this, just like I said, if you go out to protest, remember, there was a protest called Occupy Nigeria in 2014. Occupy Nigeria was one of these protests that bring forth Muhammadu Buhari and APC-led administration. But understanding the tactics being used by the APC to get into power, they immediately disembark that tactics and disable the opposition from using same tactics in removing them from office. If you look at in 2020, we have the NSAS movement. The NSAS movement was devoid of any political interest or any social economic group interest, but it was just a movement by the youth because of the issues bordering the Nigerian police and the Nigerian youth. And Nigerian youth took to the street to say, no, we will not accept this anymore. At the end of the day, we all saw what happened. After 20 days of non-stop interrupted protests, of which this protest brought about life-changing impact to most Nigerian youth. Some people received scholarship at the process of that protest. Some people met their loved one at the process of that protest. Some people actually also got their medical bills paid at the process of that protest. So it was a protest that was meant to heal the country. But what happened? It was marred with violence towards the end of the day when the APC-led administration knew that this protest will eventually remove them from office. Fast forward 2023, it happened, the obedience movement. And the obedient movement came as a result of the fact that Peter Obi availed himself to contest for the president, for the number one seat in this country. According to this honorable member that you just watched, he said protests will not solve because the Occupy Nigeria was what brought APC into power, and they will not tolerate any form of protest in Nigeria going forward. So when you look at the state of the nation currently, many people talk about revolution, inevitable revolution that may happen in Nigeria. It may be violent. It may be violent because the ballot revolution that ought to take place in Nigeria during the 2023 general election couldn't hold. Why? Because most Nigerians turn up to vote, but their vote never counts. In fact, some people were defranchised as a result of the fact that, after queuing, waiting to get their PVC, they were denied those PVC. Some places, the INEC keep shouting, come and take your PVC. But people went there, but they couldn't find, or they were not given. They keep on playing them, hide and seek game, and they were unable to get their PVC. At the end of the day, there was a glitch in the presidential result being transmitted, but it never happened to the National Assembly election results. So you see, this again will cause another vote apathy come 2027. So if we are to look at all this in order to save Nigeria from the looming inevitable violence revolution that may occur if the political elite didn't retrieve from their wickedness and as well as not wanting to develop the states, then it will be obvious to what Sowore once said, a revolution that will not be televised. And this is the state of Nigeria. You've watched, you've heard. Now, it is over to you. What do you think of this whole stuff about Nigerian state right now when you talk about the insecurity and the economic state of Nigeria? Do you believe that Nigeria is ripe for a total turnaround, another form of revolution? Probably not through ballots. Do you believe that is the only way Nigeria can come out of these canker ones and palmer ones called politicians? You take at the comment section. Please, let's try to be civil and respect each other's opinion. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.